There's a lot of dream killers out there. Some come with the best of intentions. Others, by design, are designed to kill your dreams and to suffocate your ambition.
I fucked up everything I've ever done 100 times. There's no other way to do it. And I've had a bunch of shitty breaks. Everybody has. But you got to realize when you have those shitty breaks what that is. It's an opportunity for you to reassess, reboot, get better, figure out another way, find another way through. It's just little challenges. And the people that look at those challenges and go, why do I always have these challenges? They're cancer. Those people are dangerous to be around. They will rob you of your enthusiasm. They don't give you any fuel. They're the opposite of fuel.
If you constantly focus on what's missing, it'll make you keep pushing, but it's very hard to sustain deep levels of happiness because you're all focused on what's missing. But for most people, they go, what's missing? I'm missing the love of my life. I'm missing this, I'm missing that. That puts them in a state of frustration, anger, sadness, or ultimately depression.
You know, man, your dreams have to be bigger than all your fears. If you see, that's why you have to have big dreams. Because your dreams have to be bigger than all your fears and all your consequences. What makes people go back is you dream too small.
You know what you're meant to do. You know what you desire to do. You know what your purpose and your meaning is going to be in life. Like you can sense it. You can feel the gnawing of greatness in you, right? And you know that you have to elevate to the 2.0 version to get there, but there is risk involved, that you have to fear, you have to face the fear and doubt and uncertainty, and you have to go against some of the things that the people that you love and respect say.
My friend Jocko, every morning I'll check his Instagram page, 4:30, shows a picture of his watch, get after it. He's out there working out 4:30 in the morning. He does it every fucking morning. Why? Because he doesn't want to. And that's how you do it. You go and get after it, you don't make any excuses. And those kind of guys are fuel.
See, your problem in life ain't if you aim too high and you miss it. Your problem in life is if you aim too low and you hit it. That's, you messed up now. So when you aim to the moon and you miss, you still amongst the stars. So it kind of keeps you motivated a lot longer, man, to help you push through.
Success there's a lot less learned in success. It's like the tip of the iceberg. It's the losses and it's the failures and it's the continuously, just the perseverance that you need to do. Like, I love that image of the iceberg where you see the sea level and the iceberg on the top that everyone sees, but below is what people don't get to see, and it's relevant for every single person out there.
The most important question to ask is, what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for? Anything worthwhile is going to require some degree of pain and struggle. So, if you're oriented toward the pain and the struggle, you're probably going to be more aligned with what you're capable of accomplishing rather than if you just orient toward the pleasures.
Everybody's gonna have to have a push-through moment because everybody has a turn-back moment. The key to making it is you can never turn back. When you ask God for something, God boxes it up, put your name on it, and he ships it the day you ask for it. Soon as you ask for it, he ships it. The problem with the package is, he never tells you the date that it's going to arrive.
You got to stop with all this I can't catch a break bullshit. All the time you're complaining, you could be instead hustling. You could be instead chasing your dream. You could be instead figuring out what you're doing wrong, trying to improve certain aspects of your life, getting your shit together, reading a book, meditating, something, fucking something. But this I can't catch a break shit is not helping anybody, and it pushes everybody away from you.
Like, there's a lot of dream killers out there, from people to fear, doubt, and uncertainty, to the system that's designed to keep you in line as a good little employee, working just enough to make money, but in debt just enough to not be able to break out of those shackles. And then, of course, the tactical avoidance. Like, I want to do something. I want to do something big. I want to do something grand. I want to be, leave a legacy. I want to be remembered. I want to write a book, but I need to do more research. I need to fact find. I need to gather more information, because until I gather that information, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. So a day goes by, a week goes by, a month goes by, a year goes by, 5 years go by, 10 years go by. And you're like, well, the timing's not right, the economy's not right, we don't have the right president in place, and my finances aren't right. You think you're doing something towards your life's mission, but in reality, you're not. And oftentimes what you're really doing is slowly murdering your dreams.
But some people, they get caught in that pattern, and it might be their parents, it might be how they were raised, somebody might have told them they were useless real early on, it's stuck, and they never feel like they get enough reassurance. They never feel like they get enough motivation.
We don't experience life. We experience life we focus on. Meaning what's wrong is always available, so is what's right. Whatever you focus on, you feel, even if it's not true. If you imagine something horrible is going to happen, you feel it. You're in your body, right? So focus equals feeling. Focus equals reality to the individual.
I think the most important thing is that you have to understand that it takes time. There's a very famous story about Chinese bamboo tree. The Chinese bamboo tree has to be planted in the ground, and after it's planted in the ground, it has to get water, the soil has to be taken care of, and it can't be disturbed. And for 5 years, it sits in the ground with no sign of growth, no sign of sprout. And then once it starts to sprout, it grows 60 to 80 feet in 8 weeks, all right? So this is the same thing that happens with your life. When you start to work to improve it, when you start to try and improve your career, your mental toughness, your skill set, everything that you're about, your life in general, it feels very discouraging because you're pushing, and nothing is happening.
I've failed so many more times than I've succeeded, so many more, and that people don't even know maybe necessarily about or see. And still today, I'm making those failures, those mistakes, or making mistakes. But I know that that's a part of the journey. That's what I'm then harnessing, and that's what's making me stronger.
I believe that self-discipline is the definition of self-love. That when you say that you love yourself, that means that you have behavior towards yourself that is loving.
We decide every moment, we're deciding what to focus on, but most of us don't decide consciously. It's based on habit. But we can consciously choose what to focus on. When we decide what to focus on, our brain has to come up with a meaning, like we said, the end or the beginning, loving me or dissing me, whatever the case may be. And that affects your emotions, which decides the third decision, what am I gonna do?
Oftentimes, you may not get a second chance, you don't know. And that's the tough, that you gotta live with yourself being an idler.
Find a thing you like. Try to find a thing that you really enjoy. For me, early on, it was drawing. It was illustrations. It was comic books. I wanted to be a comic book illustrator. And then it went from comic book drawing and illustrations to martial arts. So, but it was just another thing that I was very, very passionate about. And that was my vehicle out of my dilemma. That was my vehicle out of my own anxiety and trauma and my own issues and insecurities. And find something. Find a thing that you genuinely enjoy, because getting good at things you genuinely enjoy is extremely beneficial for young people, because it lets you know that, like, everybody thinks they're a loser. Every young person thinks they're a loser. At least a young person in the situation I was at. Like, I didn't know I wasn't a loser until I started winning.
It takes more than skills to be great. That's what people don't understand. Yeah. You can be the most skillful person on earth, still don't make the NBA. The NBA is not about skills. It takes way more to be. Consistency. LeBron James, 20 years in the league. When you think about LeBron, you think about consistency. He's been great for 20 years. Think about MJ, Edge, about getting better, obsession. Kobe, obsession. Steph, KD, like, man, it's not just skills.
Character's not something we inherit, regardless of who our parents were, regardless of where we were raised, regardless of how we came up. Nobody can inherit character. It can't come to you when you're born and say, you got character. You got to build that.
Martial arts taught me that, like, I could get better at stuff. That I wasn't really a loser. I just was someone who was, like, in a fucked up situation. But you could channel all that energy that you have as a young person into something and get better at it. And then all of a sudden people admired me. I was like, this is crazy. So I went from being someone who was incredibly insecure and basically a failure to someone who was really successful at this one thing that was very dangerous, that other people were scared of. And that gave me immense confidence, and also a real understanding of the direct correlation between hard work and success. And also an understanding that you can't listen to people. Because even my parents didn't want me to do martial arts. They didn't want me to fight. They didn't want me to do stand-up. There's, like, you have to understand, like, who you are, and then in the face of other people's either criticism or, you know, lack of faith in your ability to succeed, you push through, and there's great benefit in that. And then you realize that you can kind of apply that to other things in life. You can apply that to critics. You can apply that to social media commentators. You can apply that to a lot of things.
You're not as far away from these dreams as you think you are. But because you think it's so far away, you behave in accordance with that belief system, and it always keeps it that far away from you. First thing is you need to believe and know that you're one decision, one relationship, one meeting, one book, one thought, one something away from a completely different life. And when you know that, then you begin to look for them.
So somebody just asked me a cool question, said, DJ, you're on top. Where could you possibly go from here? And you always talk about outworking your competition. Who's your competition? It's a great question. Thank you for the compliment, by the way. I'm fortunate enough to be on top, but anytime you reach the top, you always want to make sure that you have the desire to raise the bar and take the brass ring to places it's never been. That's the key with being on top. Just because it's never been done doesn't mean it can't be done. And in terms of competition, great question. Everyone's my competition, but a fundamental key that I've learned over the years is, and I'll share it with you, my number one competition is me. It's always you versus you. You got to be the one to get up every morning, be disciplined, put in the consistent daily hard work, because that gains success. No coach, no trainer, no mentor, no boss can do it. You versus you.
If you think someone's ruined your life, you're right. It's you.
I don't think people are happy if they don't have puzzles and complex tasks and things that are interesting to them, whether it's an art project or whether it's learning something completely new like stand-up comedy. Like, doing things that are difficult is it's as much of a nourishment of the mind as food is a nourishment of the body. I think you need things that are puzzling to you, where you have to find your own human potential in the difficulty of the task.
If everything is easy in life, if everyone loves what you're going to do, and you have no enemies, you have no opposition, nothing to resist, you're just going to be mush. You're not going to amount to anything. You're not going to be able to push yourself. You're not going to be able to change, evolve.
Everybody goes through this, okay? It is not just you. These hard times, these times where you're struggling, these times when you're angry, these times when you're frustrated, these are not exclusive to you. And people who think they're exclusive to them suffer from a massive arrogance problem. They believe that they are the only person that suffers, the only person that has hardship, the only person that has to push through, when in reality, every single achiever that's ever existed, every single thing that's ever been built has been built by somebody who's gone through this process of everything going wrong at some point. And we can look through history at all the amazing people who have done the most amazing things. And right before they did this amazing thing that you know them for, they went through some really hard shit.
You get to decide who you are. The things that dictate our lives are our beliefs. Your life is as good as you believe it's going to be. I think a 95% of life is how you look at it, and 5% is what happens to you. So the idea that you go, what are you going to believe? Well, most of our beliefs, the beliefs that really affect us, are the presuppositions that we make. We don't even think about them. We just think it's, oh, I'm not the kind of person that does that. And then you allow yourself at some stage, you go, well, fuck that. I'm going to allow myself to dream or to try and be more than.
Worrying is like paying a debt that you don't owe. And that's it. It's not just the discomfort of the thing that you're going to have to do. It's the 50 times that you think about that thing. Fear is an inch deep and a mile wide. So when you look at it, it looks like a huge ocean that's going to cause you to drown. But when you step in it, you realize it's really shallow and you're going to survive.
Yep. You have a great life in front of you, but your great life is in front of you. It's not behind you. What you did back there ain't got nothing to do with what God got for you. What you did back there was learn the lessons to get you to where you are at this particular moment right here.
Give yourself something, an arduous, difficult task where you're challenged. People that think that physical challenges are just physical, it's just brute grunt work. It's not. It's emotional intelligence. It's understanding your desire to quit and conquering your inner bitch. All that stuff it's mental. It's playing out inside your head. And there's a mental strength that you acquire from that you can apply to intellectual pursuits.
Because I think that people have been told for a while that, oh, if you're feeling sad, there's something wrong with you. When I actually don't think there's anything wrong with when you feel sad. You feel sad? Yeah, you lost friends. You're gonna feel sad. Oh, you were in combat. You had to do some horrible things. You did some things that you regret. There's nothing wrong with that. People make mistakes. Things don't turn out the way that they wanted them to. We made decisions and there was a bad result at the end of that decision. And instead of thinking, oh, I'm a terrible person, no, it's like you made a mistake and that's okay and you got to move on.
It's about the disciplined execution on a day-by-day basis. It's not some big play. It's not get lucky. It's not talent. It's win the day. And when you win the day, you win tomorrow. And when you win tomorrow, you win the next day. There's actually no upper ceiling when it comes to that. It's not talent. It's not skill. It really is how long do you want to execute and at what level do you want to execute?
I think the greatest fear that we face is ourselves, actually. I think it's not anything that's external or anything that's superficial. I think the greatest fear you face is yourself, because we all have dreams, and it's very scary sometimes to accept the dream that you have. And it's scarier still to say, okay, I want that. It's scary.
Look in the mirror. See yourself for who you really are. You got to tell yourself the truth. So look in the mirror, look at yourself in the eyes and tell yourself the truth. Who are you? Are you doing what you should be doing? Are you working hard enough to become who you know you should become?